Humanity has found its place amongst the stars. Beyond Earth, we search for new homes, new resources, and new allies. But on a remote mining world, a group of scientists has made a terrifying discovery. They are not alone on this world, and they are not safe.
Hi guys, I'm Mark.
I'm Carlos.
And we're from GameTrollTV, a Polish YouTube channel, and we are here specially for you at Spiel Digital at Cool Mini or Not booth.
Yeah, we are going to present to you some cool products from Cool Mini or Not. Basically, it's the Zombicide in Space series. You can see Zombicide Invader, Black Ops and Darkside. And now we assume that you know Zombicide and that you know how to play Zombicide, so we will not be explaining all the rules, but mostly we'll be focusing on the differences between the Space version and different products.
Zombicide series spans over a few versions. So the first one is classic, that takes place in modern times. Then you have the older ones, let's say, that take place in the Middle Ages. And now we want to show you the one that is sci-fi, so the future setting.
Yeah, so we will start with Zombicide Invader, which is the first core box from the sci-fi series, and we will show you a little bit what are the differences between the sci-fi version and the classic and the fantasy version, and also, show you what is really cool about this game. So the first main difference you can see in Zombicide Invader is that we are not really facing zombies, but rather than that we are facing Xenos. We are on the surface of a planet called PKL7, I'll never remember that, where humans found a rare mineral and trying to mine it, and the Xenos suddenly appear and start attacking our players.
In the game you control a group of survivors that can be either soldiers or civilians that have different benefits, and all of them try to fight the Xenos and survive on the planet. Apart from the survivors, you also get some special military equipment because, hey, it's science fiction. So you get some sentry towers or some robots that can help you defeat the Xenos.
A new thing in Zombicide Invader, which is also related to the fact that this is science fiction, is that we have different type of ammo. So you have old classical, bullets, but also you have energy ammunition, and sometimes to use, for example, prototype weapons, you need to attach to them special prototype pods that will give energy to the weapon.
As the game takes place on the surface of a planet, you sometimes go outside, so you need to take some oxygen with you to be safe and breathe.
The abomination in Zombicide Invaders is quite nasty because it's running around the base and it's spreading mold, and the mold is really destroying our base, and at some point it might cause you to lose the game.
So that was Zombicide Invader, the first core box set in the sci-fi range, and you can see the contents here. That's a lot of miniatures.
And this is Zombicide Darkside, the second core box, which basically you can play as a standalone, but also you can combine both versions into one awesome game. And look at it, look at the amount of miniatures you can have at the table at one time. I don't know about you, but I'm already excited.
That's a lot of miniatures. Welcome to Darkside, the second standalone core box for Zombicide science fiction version. So while the Invader took us to the surface of PKL7, Darkside takes us deep beneath the ground. And here we're gonna be fighting a different species of Xenos.
So, like we said, we are underground and we have a new species of Xenos called Drillers. The Driller abomination drills holes, and when the Xenos step into them, they are more resilient to our attacks. Now, this version of the game also brings you new terrain and new rules to use. As we are underground, it's very dark, so instead of going outside and needing oxygen like we did in Invader, here you have the dark zones that you cannot see into, so you need to step into the dark and fight the monsters there. In this new core box we also get one new bot and one new sentry machine gun, which are a little different from the Invader ones, but you can use them both in any version of the game you want.
Of course, in this version you have a new squad of survivors that is different from the previous one. Here you have only soldiers that have different abilities and special starting equipment that is different from the Invader version.
Since Darkside is a new core box, you of course get a complete set of new scenarios. Also, what is really cool about this game is that when you have both boxes, Darkside and Invaders, you can combine them, and since you have new plastic sets of these trays, you can use all 12 survivors to play in one game.
Also, if you want to have a diversity in your base game, when you only play with 6 other players or just 6 survivors, instead of all of 12 of them that are now available, you can just switch survivors from one game to another with no problem, or use different set of Xenos, or for example different sentry gun. You can mix whatever you want. It's very easy to change and makes your great games really diverse. Okay guys, so small sum up what we know up to this point. So we have a second starter box for zombie in space, so either Invader or Darkside. You can choose one of these settings, or you can have both of them to have 12 players playing and to have a big diversity of units to choose from, your survivors, enemies to choose from, and equipment, missions and abilities, and each of these boxes brings you a big campaign to use and play. So a lot of fun. And now we jump to our next element. Okay guys, so we talked about the core games, now it's time to have an expansion to add to them. So Zombicide Black Ops gives you a squad of super experienced specialized commandos which look super badass, and they were in the same star system that PKL7 is located in, looking for some spies that worked undercover, and suddenly they got the distress message from the planet that there is something wrong coming on, and they go into the planet to help the survivors from our base games to stop the Xenos and do some super nasty special ops secret stuff.
Yeah, but you don't only get the special ops guys, but with them comes a little bit of equipment. So you get a new bot, you get a new sentry gun, but also, maybe you shouldn't be happy about that, but you get a very tough abomination. This one is called the Juggernaut Abomination, and unfortunately you cannot kill it that easily. You can only kill it with a special attack like an explosion or some kind of flamethrower.
If we're talking special operation, if we're talking special ops commandos and stuff like this, they need to have some very hard-hitting new equipment, and that's exactly what you get in Black Ops. So there's a new type of equipment that you mix into your equipment deck that you can find during your missions in the campaigns, and also each of the commandos comes with some specialized equipment. So instead of the cattle prod that you used to have in previous version or some submachine guns, now each of them have a shock glove that really can punch the Xenos, or a special SMG that is of course very effective because, hey, these are special ops.
And on top of that, you get a new type of terrain, which is called pod zones. If you shoot at the pod zones, they will explode, and that causes a lot of fire, which luckily can kill the Juggernaut Abomination, as well as many other Xenos.
Or your guys, if you're not careful enough. So,
yep,
watch out where you're shooting. And of course, what an expansion it would be without a new campaign. So Black Ops comes with a very long and very hard campaign. So if you're a Zombicide experienced veteran, if you played all of the basic missions from the one or both starter sets, core boxes, now in this expansion you will get a ton of very hard to complete missions that you will need all of the super nice equipment I mentioned previously to finish. So if you're looking for an adventure and some maybe, you know, something to test your skills, Black Ops campaign is the really thing you should be looking for.
In order to play that campaign, you will need the Zombicide Invader box, because the components, the tiles will be mixed with the Invader version. But also you can use all of these elements as well in Invaders as in Darkside to create a huge mix of Xenos, survivors, weapons, terrain types. It will be an epic adventure.
Okay guys, thanks for joining us at this little adventure when we stroll through the universe of Zombicide science fiction.
So, just to recap, we have one core box, second core box, you can play each of them separately. You have an expansion that you can use mostly with Invader, but you can also mix with Darkside, and most of all you can mix everything together to get a huge mix of Xenos, scenarios, tiles, weapons, survivors. This will give you a lot of replayability and a lot of hours of fun spent on the table with Zombicide Sci-Fi.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching GameTrollTV with Kulmin or Not here at Spiel Digital. We hope you enjoyed this video. Have fun on the fair and maybe see you next year.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye.